Hi, and welcome to Now You're Cooking. My name's Mike Fear, and tonight we're going to have a little taste of British. First of all, today is the Platinum Jubilee. Amazingly, Queen Elizabeth II has been on the throne for 70 years. It's a wonderful achievement, and as you see, we have over the years collected different Jubilee mugs and coronation mugs. And one of the things you'll be excited to know, we have the Platinum Jubilee tea from Hartly. We carry several teas, and one of them is Hartly's teas, and the Jubilee tea is specially made for the British Isles, but made by an American company called Hartly. And we happen to have purloined like 6 cases of it, so come in and get your Jubilee tea. I'm also going to be talking about Marmalade. This is the British secret to the best marmalade. So there are some people who say, well, I'm not going to make my own, getting the Seville oranges and having to do all that work. So Robertson's has kindly made a can of the Seville oranges all ready to go. So all you need is a can, 4 pounds of sugar, and I think it's 15 ounces of water, and a pot to cook it in, and that's what we're going to do. First thing is you've got to get it out of the can, and I wanted to show off OXO's opener. This is an opener that will basically open a can without leaving sharp edges. So just basically, as you see, I'm going around, and it barely looks like I've done anything to the can, but when you get all the way around, you'll find that it just opens right up, and you can actually put the lid right back on it if you want to, but it's just a way to have a can that isn't going to cut you. Now I'm going to pour the Seville oranges. I'm going to pour it right into the pot here, and there it goes. And next I'm going to take 15 ounces of water, and actually what it shows on the can, it shows the measurement on the can, and the concept is that you actually measure it in the can, but I thought I'd measure it and then try to get the last little bits of orange out, and there we go. So there's the Seville oranges. I'm going to hang on to that because I want to show you something else. And 4 pounds of sugar, and it seems like a lot of sugar, and if you want to use less, but it really comes out, tastes just beautifully. I'm just going to pour all that sugar right in there. And if you're saying, well, I won't remember all this, it's right on the can. The whole description is right there, tells you exactly what to do. And I'm going to crank on the heat, and I'm doing this in my favorite cooking pot. This is a company called Fissler, German company, and this is a great size. This is a 5.5 quart pot. It's we actually have, this is also our pot right here, the 4 quart, which we have. It has measurements on the inside. It really is very good. But we have every size. We have 2 quart, 4 quart, 5 quart, 6 quart, 8 quart, 10 quart, 12 quart, and 14 quart. So whatever size you need, we have it. It'll become your favorite pan if you want to do stock, whatever you want to do in it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this up to boiling, and the sugar is dissolving in here. And wooden spoon, they recommend using a wooden spoon. It's going to boil. Once it gets to boiling, we're just going to let it simmer for about 15 minutes. So actually what I'm going to do is ask my assistant to come and actually stir for me while we talk about some other things. When it gets to a point where it's going to boil, we'll turn it down, and then we'll measure about 15 minutes. One thing I wanted to do is to talk about another can opener. I showed you this one, which takes the can off, the can lid off with no cutting edges. It's a non-traditional can opener, but OXO makes a traditional can opener. And this is the easiest can opener. If you have any difficulty opening a can, this is the easiest. It's just your traditional, just do this and it just cuts. So it's, you know, easy peasy. As we get older, it's not so easy to turn like that. So this one just does a great job. So whichever one, that will be a great feature. Okay, that's can openers. I wanted to talk a little bit about coffee, what goes well with your English muffins and marmalade, but a cup of coffee. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about the AeroPress, if you've not seen this. The AeroPress is a simple way to make 1 cup of coffee. As you see, it's very simple, just really 3 moving parts. And so to make your coffee, use 1 paper filter, which you put right in here. This piece fits right there, and then you load 1 scoop of coffee, and then you can basically put this over a mug. Now I have a kettle here, which it will basically, you can see it's got different buttons, and so I can basically press a certain button that I want for a temperature. And what I've pressed is the 200-degree button. When you're making coffee, it's really good to have it something under boiling. And so this is 200 degrees. And when it has boiled, or not boiled, when it has got hot, I'm going to pour that into this. And it's sort of like an inverse to the French press. Many of you have a French press or use a French press. And then you get to choose how much water you put in, how much coffee you put in. And pretty quickly this is going to be up to temperature. And there's always these moments of silence. While we're waiting for it to come to temperature, I do want to point out that this Saturday is a very momentous event. Back in 1607, we had some visitors to the Popham Peninsula, Phippsburg Peninsula. It was not known as Popham or Phippsburg back in those days, but the British came and landed and experienced their first winter and built a ship and went back to England again. So they found it a little cold and not welcoming. So they built a ship, a pinnace called the Virginia. And so there has been a group that has built a replica. And this weekend, the Virginia, the replica, is being launched. So come downtown Bath and enjoy seeing them launched the boat on Saturday. They're going to be, I think, the ceremony actually takes place around 4, but there's going to be street fair, there's going to be all kinds of food trucks, there's going to be musicians. It's just going to be a great Saturday. An added advantage is if you go down to the event, take a picture of yourself down there, bring that picture up here, and the date 1607 is very important, because what we're doing is we're going to give you 16% off your purchases if you present, when you cash out, a picture, a selfie of you, or a picture of the actual ship on Saturday. So that's well worth coming in. And here we have our water is ready. I'm going to pour right in here, and what you can do is you can pour a little bit to let it bloom a little bit, the coffee, and then when you feel like it is bloomed, you can then pour more water in there. And again, you can control the strength by how much water and how much coffee you put in there. You can almost make a espresso this way. Once you've poured it and stirred it, you just take the plunger and then you just press the coffee through the grounds. And it's probably, I think, from when I poured the water in there to when I had my coffee ready, maybe it took me 30 seconds. So what's fantastic is you can then immediately eject the coffee like that, and then you can load up again, and so if somebody else says, oh, I'd like a cup too, you can quickly, you can get your cup and you get your water, and there's really no waiting, and just let it bloom a little bit, and then again pouring however much you want. I haven't poured a lot in there. I'm thinking that a smaller cup that is nice and bold. By the way, I'm using Swift River, their signature blend. It's a nice bold breakfast blend. We sell 3 coffees here, and Swift River is one. Main Roasters we've sold for the past 23 years. We also sell Bird Dog? Speckled Axe, that's it. I always think of them as Bird Dog. It's a wooden, a wood-fired process for roasting. They use all wood. What you see now is with the marmalade, it's starting to froth a little bit, and that means it's really getting up to a temperature. Once it gets to frothing and boiling, we're going to leave it for about 15 minutes. One of the reasons I love this pot is, even though the product is very hot, it's boiling there, I can hold the handles here. It stay cool. So often you'll have the pan get so hot all the way up the sides and the handles, and this one is one where you can pretty much pick up the pot and go wherever with it. So I really like that a lot. Having coffee is great, but sometimes you want some nice froth milk to go with it. So here we have the Smeg. Smeg milk frother. I'll turn the controls this way, and here you see inside, this is doing all the work right here of frothing, I'm going to turn this down a little bit, I think. It'll boil over. So we can put either of these little wheels, magnetic wheels, in there. And I'm going to put the frothing one in. And essentially what happens is this will froth the milk when we put in, and it will heat the milk. Now there are several settings that we can set. I'm going to pour some milk in here first of all. It's probably plenty. And my settings here include, if I want to make hot chocolate, hot cocoa, I can set it there. If I want to heat it up, there. If I want to heat and froth, if I really want to froth, if I want to froth but have it cold, if I want it really frothy and have it cold, and then if I want to control it myself on manual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to the really frothy setting and heat and froth, and I'm going to press right there, and you can hear it and see it whirling away there. And so this is a great way to turn your coffee experience into a latte or cappuccino or however you like it. We carry a lot of SMEG products, and their toaster and their mixer, awesome mixer. We actually have their SMEG mixer right in the kitchen over here. If you ever want to see it in action, we have it here. So they make some fabulous products. Okay, Marmalade is still doing its thing. Everything is going swimmingly here. I showed you the AeroPress. Well, AeroPress has a travel set. So it has the whole thing, including a little spoon for measuring your coffee, a stirrer for stirring your coffee, and it has a little container for the paper filters. If I can only just open them up, there we go. So you can travel with your coffee maker. It fits nicely into this, and you can just pack it and put your coffee and off you go. So both products are the same price, $34.99, $39.99, something under $40, $39.99. So talking about pricing, our kettle here, which earlier today I measured 3 kettles. I did a OXO, a Breville, and another OXO, and I put in each one of them. Oh, our milk is done. Let me show you how beautiful that milk is. See how lovely and frothy that is. You can see, especially when I pour it right in there. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Who wouldn't want to drink that? Okay. So I put a quart of water in each kettle, and set them all going to boil. They all took exactly 5 minutes to boil that quart of water. So when it comes to choosing an electric kettle, you'll find they are just as efficient as each other, and just a question of whether you like to be able to set temperatures, etc. Is it boiling now yet?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you can see this is boiling. You don't need to stir anymore now, I think. So we're going to leave it it's been boiling probably for 5 or 6 minutes. We're going to let it go for another 10 minutes before we do the next thing. I'm going to give this to my assistant so that she can wash it out. Then I'm going to, why not, let's make a cup of tea. After all, it is Jubilee time. If you're wondering about this flag, by the way, this is the English flag. So Queen Elizabeth is Queen of England, so we have the English flag. Of course, she represents the United Kingdom, which is the Union Jack. That covers all. A lot of people think the Union Jack is the English flag. No, the Cross of St. George is the English flag. The Welsh flag and the Scottish flag kind of combine with the English flag to make the Union Jack, if you've ever wondered about that. Making tea, always warm the pot. So put boiling water in the pot, make it nice and then find somewhere to pour out that. And then this is from the Diamond Jubilee. The tea in here is not from the Diamond Jubilee. I just reuse it all the time. It's great to have these mementos. And you can, of course, have your own memento if you come in and get the Platinum Jubilee can. So I'll throw in 2 tea bags. And there's nothing wrong with tea bags. If you like loose tea, you can do that also. And now we just pour the boiling water in. Let it steep. Let it steep for 5 or 6 minutes. And then you've got your Jubilee mug. This is actually Cornish ware. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Cornish ware. I have a small collection of Cornish ware, and so these are a couple of pieces that I collected. It's very collectible and very typical. Okay, what haven't we covered? I do want to be able to taste the marmalade here in a minute, so we'll have an English muffin.
What's on in there? Have you
Yeah.
done the butter yet? Does that happen yet?
So what it will tell you is at some point to reduce the froth, because it gets very frothy. As you see, as I'm stirring it here, it's got very, very frothy. And so what you can do is take a, did I have the butter right? Yes, it's right here. They recommend a knob of butter. What is a knob of butter? I don't know. I figure that's a knob of butter, but that's a very typical term. And I throw the knob of butter in there, and that should calm the frothing down. The other thing I've done, and it describes it again on the can, is I've got a plate, just a regular plate like this, in the freezer. And what I'm going to do this is to help me test if the marmalade is ready to be jarred. And I think I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes, and we'll actually try that just to see how that works. Hopefully I'll have my English muffin. I've got my coffee. I've got my tea. I should have my tea cozy on my teapot. We've had this tea cozy for years, and everybody wants to buy it. They wonder what the heck it is. One gentleman came and spilled our tea because he was so excited to see the cat. We do carry tea cozies. We do carry a lot of different teas. Brook Bond PG Tips is our top seller. We have Hartly's, we have Republic of Tea, we have, who else? Yorkshire Gold, Yorkshire Red. Yeah, we just have a ton of teas. Okay. And I think if you wouldn't mind getting the plate out of the freezer there. So nice cold plate. And what I'm going to do is just put a few drips of the marmalade on there. And so that will cool it down. Meanwhile, here I have my English muffin. Gonna have a little bit of butter. And this butter dish, it's buttery, it's really good. It's nicely covered, you don't lose the handle. You can use it for butter, you can use it, it's called buttery. You can use it for cream cheese. It's really, really handy. Leave it out, put it in the fridge. Comes in a variety of colors, so that'd be an awesome thing. Can I have a spoon? Let me actually open up one of the little ones here. So I had to experiment. Earlier this week to make sure, and you can see how this is nicely set up. Just plonk that right on there. And so the first thing I'm going to do is take a bite. That way I can't speak anymore. Just the right amount of tartness and sugar. Beautiful. Now you can see it's not going anywhere. So it's really starting to a little bit, but it's really setting up. So I'm going to call this good. Now, a lot of people who are experienced with canning will say, well, you have to have a special little funnel, and we do carry those, by the way. And then you pour in. I actually use a pitcher, and I just basically reach right into the marmalade, and then carefully not to pour it over my hand. I just pour it right in, and there you go. Now, what a great size to give as a gift. But if you're making it for yourself, why not use one of these? This is Le Parfait. They're really awesome little jars. So you can fill that up with marmalade, and then you've got marmalade for weeks on end. Or if you say, boy, I'd like to treat somebody a bit more, you can use a little bowl jar here. We sell a number of jars right here. These are some of our jars right here, so you can certainly buy the jars here. The Marmalade you can buy here. It's $9.99 for a can. You make 6 pounds of marmalade with this. So with that, I've pretty much shown you everything I know. I haven't made too many mistakes. Come on in to Bath this weekend. Make sure that you check out the launching of the Virginia. Take advantage of our support on Saturday. 16% because of 1607. 16% if you show us a selfie at the event. Next week we have Hot Pot, which is an awesome thing. It's better than fondue. It's very similar to fondue, but to me it's just a wonderful thing. So tune in next week at 5 o'clock, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much.